Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. This is, of course, Top 10. It's Top 10 Thursday. And, well, what are we doing today, Samuel?
I think we feel a bit of a mood that we need to fight. We've been peaceful for too long.
Confrontational? Yeah, yeah.
I'm too far away. Even though I can see you on the monitor trying to hit me, there's no one here. So no. But we can vent this need to fight into the top 10 and
Well,
have a...
it's been built up. I mean, we got Batman versus Superman. We got Captain America versus Iron Man. I mean, it's time to battle, right?
Yes. Which
So,
is
today's Top 10
theme of today. Yes.
is... See, we're even battling over who's announcing what today's Top 10 is. It's usually you, but I'm kind of...
It makes sense. It's top 10 battles we want to see. As in
Top 10 battles we want to see.
Yes. So, fun battles, things that...
I'm talking. What do you think? This is your show or something?
It's both. This one's actually both of our show.
Okay, guys, you pick. I want hashtag Team Captain Foley or hashtag Team Commander Calkins.
You know what to do, guys.
Let's see who wins this one. All right. Number 5 for me. I would love to see a Galaxy class versus a Nebula class with a weapons pod. I don't know how they match power-wise. I'm pretty sure they're very similar, but the compact nature of the Nebula with the additional weapons package, I think, might be a match for the Galaxy class.
Well, obviously, my gut originally, when I've talked about this before, is that the Galaxy is the flagship. It's designed for the exploration, but not... Nebula's not designed for battle, but then people pointed out, well, the Nebula pod is like 8 torpedo launchers. So just that alone, plus, like, say, the sleeker profile, I mean, a spread of 8 torpedoes straight at the Galaxy would do a lot of damage. So that'd be an interesting fight. And just visually, to see, like, brothers fighting,
Exactly. Yeah, Cain and Abel throwing stones at each other, murdering each other. No. The compact nature of the Nebula, I think, would make it more agile, a little bit more maneuverable, because the more squat profile, perhaps, things pulled in closer to the center mass. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see for sure. So that's why it's number 5.
Great choice.
The pictures up there are so static. They're not moving.
Yeah.
I'm
Copyright.
just bugging. I know. All right. So number 4 for me is a Borg Tactical Fusion Cube.
Yes.
Versus the Vengeance from the JJ universe.
Poor Vengeance, Jesus. That's like the hardest fight that you could ever oof. Jesus.
Well, we don't know what the Vengeance is capable of, really. I mean, the Enterprise apparently has like torpedo launchers along the side of the secondary hull, so the Vengeance must have.
Because a guy from the Eugenics War can totally make a ship capable of defeating the Borg. Yep. More advanced than anything of their time. Yep.
I wouldn't doubt. Okay, do you want to change it from a tactical fusion cube to just a tactical cube? Do you think that might be more realistic? Because I mean, size-wise, this thing, Vengeance is huge.
That's a good point. Well, yeah, but still, I mean, it's bigger than the Galaxy, isn't it? The 09's
the Vengeance, yes.
It's meant to be the same as the Galaxy. It's like twice the Galaxy. I mean, that'd be interesting. I don't know, just like I can't imagine. I mean, the technology gap, though. I mean, if you meant like tactical fusion cube of the time, so like of the 22 somethings, which at least pushes it back.
I don't mean of the time. I mean TNG versus Vengeance, because already the JJ tech is so much more advanced than TOS tech.
I just don't.
So
I can't. I don't even see that being I don't see that being. Well, do you think that's a fight that JJ could win?
Well, I think it would. I would think it would come in, the cube, and then the Vengeance, and then a big explosion, and the Vengeance is gone, and I'd be like, that was strangely satisfying. That was strangely satisfying.
I agree.
So maybe that's why I picked it.
Yeah, I don't think it'd last many. I mean, but again, if the Queen wanted them to survive, it'd probably last a little while. But there's no 709 on that ship. There's only Khan, breaking heads with, I don't think it wouldn't last many seconds. And just the shields alone of a later TNG ship would be, But interesting. The 2 black ships. You can barely have if you don't have Nebula behind them, you can't even see them. Almost.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Stealth ship.
Anyway, number 3. Okay, so we got Rick Sternbach's Ambassador class versus Andrew Probert's prototype ambassador class.
Ooh, ooh,
Ooh.
ooh. That's like that's Trek history of pitting against itself there. Ooh.
And I don't want either one to win because I like them both very much. But we know that Andrew put a lot of thought in his prototype. And we also know that the Rix is well armed, but at the same time, it did get its ass handed to it by a couple of the ships.
Yeah.
Which, that was a couple, I guess, against one, I guess. So, I don't know. What are you thinking about that battle?
I mean, obviously you're taking the Tobias, the fleshed out version, not just the concept picture, because that has phaser strips, that has weapons. I believe the Andrew one's more well armed in terms of phaser strips and things. I believe I can do some quick things, and for some reason the sleekness of the design makes me feel like it can do those curves, be more maneuverable. But then again, just the simple design of Rix. I mean, you see it in like Wolf 359, or at least the DS9 version, do some pretty nice turns. I mean,
yeah. Well, the feel of Rix feels more like a battleship with the way it's designed.
Yeah.
Andrews feels more like Explorer, just with its graceful lines and kind of more galaxy-like. It doesn't feel like aggressive to the point of being a battleship. Whereas the Enterprise C or Ambassador class looks very much like a battleship. It's sturdy. It's got those. I don't know. There's something about the struts, just the way that it's designed, looks very rough. And
I think the way the two ships feel, it feels as if the Andrew one is much bigger, just because of how much bulk proportion. But they're meant to be the exact same length. So if it was the bigger ship, if the sea was actually a smaller ship, I think Andrew would win hands down. But I think if we're thinking the theoretical nature of the fact that they're probably exactly the same armed. Although I guess the only thing we could say about that though is that the Ambassador prototype would be the first off the line. The Enterprise C is a more advanced later version, so they might have slightly more advanced phases. That's the only thing I can say to that, because it's not the Ambassador, it's the Enterprise C version. If you're saying that, I mean, at least the ones we see, rather than just saying another theoretical version of the ship. That'd be my only thing.
Interesting. Yeah, so that's my number 3, guys.
Cool. Great
Think about that. You probably haven't thought about that. All right, so number 2 for me is the Vengeance.
Okay.
Versus the First Federation ship from the Corbomite maneuver. The huge First Federation ship, which we don't even know what they're really capable of. But it's so big. I'm just going by size here, because the Vengeance is so big. I got to compare. And we do see one of those First Federation ships actually in of Gods and Men. It's a little bit damaged, but it was a nice cool to see that. So
very cool.
They're pretty advanced. I'm thinking they might be able to kick the Vengeance butt, roll over them as it were, because it's shaped like a ball.
Think Indiana Jones.
That'd be a good animation. I'm just saying. I'm not going to get an animation, am I? No.
That's a great one. Although again, I think the Vengeance is overhyped in terms of firepower. That again, even if you're armed with lots of weapons, they're limited to the power of the time. Couldn't suddenly invent quantums. You know what I mean? Like even if you put more weapons, it's like with the Galaxy versus the Nebula. The difference is probably just the fact there's more torpedo launchers. That's really just the difference. Just to build a ship the size of that First Federation ship implies technology. I mean, if it's solid, or even if it's hollow, I mean, what could be in that is diabolical. I don't even think that the shields would be. It's an ant hitting a glass window. It couldn't do anything. That'd be my guess. But visually, that'd be very interesting.
Very interesting. Or even the First Federation ship versus a Borg tactical fusion cube, because those are huge too. So
the sphere versus the cube.
Yeah, that's going back to kindergarten. You got the sphere and the cube going at it. Anyway, that brings us to number 1 for me.
Yes. Okay. I've got one.
Number 1 for
me. Can I guess what it is?
Go right ahead.
Is it the JJ Prize versus the Constitution class Enterprise?
No. No, it's not.
It's a good guess.
But though. I hate you. I gotta say I hate you, and you'll know why in a minute.
Okay.
But anyway, my number 1 would be a Klingon bird of prey versus the refit Enterprise and actually battling with full crews
Right.
and full weapons and fully like coming into battle fresh. I'd love to see, because the bird of prey is smaller, it's more maneuverable, but it could probably kick some butt. The refit, see, it's a good one. It's a good match. You got to admit, it'd be cool to see on screen. We've seen them face off, but we haven't, and the result was very disappointing. But that's just because Kirk, had to win. So anyway, I don't know. I would like to see that battle for real happen. I've seen it many times in Starfleet or Starfleet Command Volume 2 when I play that. So it is fun, but yeah, that's my number one. So you were wrong.
I tried. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Just to just actually live that battle that we never got to see. Although I'm assuming you mean it's the Braille, the same version that we saw in the movie, rather than like it's. See, my thing, and I do reference this in my top 10, is that the Braille, all Klingon ships generally fire forward, or at least the Braille does. So I think just the fact the phasers have ball turrets, they can keep firing at the Braille, just gives Enterprise a overall advantage.
But the Burrell's got cloak, and it's more maneuverable because it's smaller.
Yeah.
So they can probably fly circles around the Enterprise.
Yeah. And we know that the weapons of the time are more pulse phasery than phaser phasery, which implies they probably don't have the same tracking ability that later on phasers. So I'm sure the Burrell could probably dodge shots as opposed to later where it would target, which would certainly be interesting. Yeah, I want to see it. That's the point of this top 10. I want to see that battle. Cool, great choices. Very interesting. A lot of vengeance there. I'm pretty surprised.
I just had to. It's so big and menacing. Ooh.
My number 5. I bet you're not going to know any of these. Oh, you might actually get one. You might guess one. But my number 5 is Dauntless versus Voyager. Another what if / should have happened. That episode always made me wonder, actually, how powerful is the Dauntless? What was it really capable of? And I'd love to see actually if it fought the Voyager, who would win? It's more advanced, at least in some ways, but it's smaller and less able in other ways. And we talked to Rick. It does have weapons. It does have all these things, but we don't get to see it. How maneuverable are they? Like what? Why didn't whatever his name, Anax, whatever his name was, just actually try and just destroy them? I mean, maybe he could have. Maybe he couldn't have. Maybe it's a scout ship. I mean, I want to know. I want to see that fight.
Yeah, as you know, I hate the Dauntless with a passion. It's not at all my favorite design. And you always say, oh, Stuart, you always say that it's your favorite. It's always your favorite. It's always your favorite. No, I don't, because there's many that I say that I hate, and that's one of them. And what we've seen from it in the show, if it was actually Federation tech, it would have been a lot smaller than Voyager, I think. The bridge, it wasn't designed for a lot of people. We know that. The bridge was very small.
It's quite a large bridge, though.
We're not sure if it has weapons, even when we talked to Rick about it. There's no visible phaser strips, no shuttle bay per se. So I really think, and I hope, and I pray that the Intrepid class would win, because I just like to see, that floating pile of debris would be better than the Dauntless.
What more needs to be said?
Exactly. The hammer's been put down. Boom, gavel, done. Jury, executioner.
My number 4. Delta Flyer versus Braille Bird of Prey. The Braille class scout is relatively weak, but maneuverable, but also old. The Delta Flyer is a very advanced craft with strong weapons, Borg enhanced systems, and better maneuverability, I would bet. And if you consider, like I said before, the Bird of Prey can only fire forward, and the Delta Flyer, with a really good pilot, I think could fly circles around it. I mean, the Braille, it's not a big ship. Delta Flyer's even smaller, but hey, it's advanced. What do you think?
I'm picturing, for some reason, 2 MMA fighters in a cage, because that's what it would be. It would be a tangle. There would be a lot of back and forth, I think.
Yeah.
And I think one would be all over the other one for a minute, and then it got kind of switched up for a second. But I think you're right, with the more advanced tech and the newer design, that the Delta Flyer would definitely take that fight. No problem.
And
One,
just
two, three.
and just like I say, like weaving around each other, the Delta Flyer could just stay behind it and keep firing. I mean, it's that maneuverable to keep up, and as long as it stays behind it, it can just keep targeting and phasers. Phasers are very important. But then again, one torpedo, a full torpedo from the Braille, or in a full disruptor strike. I mean, we've seen it destroy a bug ship, Dominion bug ship, like tissue paper. So I mean, hey, that lucky shot.
True, yeah. And the Delta Flyer only has micro torpedoes,
Mm-hmm.
photon torpedoes.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. My number 3 is DS9 versus a Borg Cube.
That would be an awesome one to see.
DS9 is a very strong station, so many weapons, and can take out basically an entire fleet just by itself. I'd love to see a Borg Cube, this big ship, go again. It's like a movable object versus an unstoppable force. Hey, if you can fire 80 torpedoes a second and phasers, the D did lots of damage with single photons. Imagine just spread after spread. I mean, there's no retargeting, there's no missing. You just keep firing, keep attacking. I mean, and how long does shields have to last before the cube gets damaged enough? I mean, that'd be a great fight. Even if they're just, it'd be great visually.
Yeah, that would be good. Although the station is at a slight disadvantage in not being able to maneuver, they might be.
Yes, because the Borg Cube is very maneuverable.
Beam locked on.
Borg Cube is very maneuverable. Left, right.
Much more so than DS9 was.
Sure.
I don't know. I can see a Borg Cube warping in really quick and just kind of getting the jump on them and locking on an assimilation beam and just start assimilating, beaming troops over. I don't know. I don't think it would last super long.
That's a really good point, actually. Because at what point, if you think of them as actually facing off full on, not just send one drone. I think the shields of the DS9 are going to be so much superior to anything in any galaxy, any sovereign. Like they could last a good while and enough to get a few shots off. But you're right. Once the shields go down, if they don't want to destroy it, beaming Borg everywhere. I mean, how long are the people going to last when And a bigger station means more. A drone just goes to the power core, injects standard probes, boom, lost power. At that point, everyone else gets assimilated. So there's probably that point where the scales tip.
Yeah.
But would you even think that the DS9 has more weapon output than a Borg Cube? Just in raw firepower.
I would think so. I would think after the Federation upgraded the defensive systems, I'm sure. Yeah. But maybe we could get lucky and the Borg would assimilate Morn and then they would just sit down at the bar and not talk.
Well, you've seen that Robot Chicken sketch where they assimilate a drunk guy and then suddenly they want to party. So I mean, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, we could get lucky, right?
My number 2, kind of similar to your first one, and that's one of the things we want to see is an Excelsior class versus a Katanga. We never saw it. We never got to see an Excelsior even fight ships of its own era. I want to see a new Excelsior going against a brand, most advanced Katanga of the time. But with the maneuverability we see it used in the Voyager episode, because that's sort of properly CGI maneuverable, not just the interesting fight. The Excelsior is probably stronger, but the pure weapon output. I mean, the Katanga is maybe the pinnacle of the battleship. We never really got to see it fight against anyone enough to get a sense of its strength. It's a smaller ship, a far smaller ship. But it's going to be packing a lot of.
I was going to say that. That being said, yeah, because it's slightly bigger than the D7, but it's still smaller than a refit Connie, size-wise. But they always come in packs of 3. So I'd like to see 3.
Apart from Kronos 1.
Oh, yes, but peace mission and all that jazz. Right?
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun fight.
I think it would be too, and I'd love to see the Excelsior get its butt kicked. I mean, sure, it'd be a pretty interesting fight. I think Excelsior would do very well.
My number 1. Do you want to throw a guess out there? Because I threw a guess out for yours.
It's the Prometheus versus something. The Prometheus versus JJ Prize. I don't know. I really don't know. It's Prometheus something.
Well, you're half right, and it's funny, we talk about this in an upcoming episode. It's Prometheus versus Sovereign. Because which is stronger? Which is more powerful? Which would kick ass? You've got the most advanced. Prometheus is more advanced. It's got theoretically better weapons, and split into 3. It's smaller, more maneuverable, but the Sovereign is the battleship, is the flagship, has more shield output, has theoretically more phaser output, has dedicated quantum and photon torpedo launchers, more launchers, especially the Nemesis version. I mean, my god, how many torpedo launchers does that thing have? But can the punch of Prometheus outdo the Sovereign? I mean, it is, again, like putting the two titans against each other, the creme de la creme in slightly different ways. You know? Who could win? Interesting.
It would be interesting because the Prometheus is smaller than the Sovereign to start with, but to be able to split into three, that's a real tactical advantage. I mean, you can get different attack vectors and hitting from different angles.
And we see how effective that is. It takes out a Nebula in seconds. I mean, disables one. I mean, that's pretty, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. That'd be awesome to see.
Yeah.
I can't call that one. That's
I know. I need to see it to know.
Exactly.
But Stuart, honourable mention. What is that for you?
My honourable mention is what you speculated for my number one, the JJ Prize versus the Connie.
Cool.
Just going on pure logistics, I think the JJ Prize would probably win, just based on its humongous, ginormous size and all of its water facilities that shoot icicles and stuff. I'm sure it would just rupture the hull of the original Connie. But then again, the Connie's smaller, you know, be more maneuverable maybe, perhaps. And I don't know. Just one good hull rupture and the whole JJ Prize would just freeze like an ice cube in space. Maybe.
Yeah, it's got a big internal volume. If you just can shoot through it, it'd freeze you. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The Connie that we know has phasers, torpedoes. The JJ Prize we know has torpedoes, very quick firing torpedoes, and a lot of pulse phasers, and that is going to throw out a lot more punishment than a single phaser barrage. And we see, at the end of 09, we see it pummel, and we never see the although we do see the Intermediate Darkly firing phasers and torpedoes, so we know it can do it. But just the rate of fire for the JJ Prize, and again the size, as you say, I mean, yeah, I don't think, yeah,
it's just all the unknowns with the JJ Prize. We don't know who would win in that fight.
Yeah.
Based on what we do know, Prime Universe will definitely win. Just because I said so. That's why.
Yes, because you're the captain.
Anyway, your honorable mention.
Just a silly one. I thought would be fun, and sort of alternate reality style. Enterprise E, best Enterprise E of the time, versus Warship Enterprise D, a third nacelle dreadnought. More advanced E, but the D has the Connie has the phaser lance, but that's a very specific weapon. Maybe the E's more maneuverable. It's certainly more maneuverable than a Negvar. Can it avoid it? Has quantums. The D hasn't got quantums. I doubt it. And can it even fire quantums with the lance? We don't know. You know, like it's like saying one big powerful gun versus a ship that is much more advanced and designed to be a battleship. I mean, that's. But then so's the D. But then I don't know. And you take it as it's from all good things timeline, so it is more advanced, but then it's... Why would you refit an older ship? I don't know. Just be interesting one to see those two, like, what-ifs.
Interesting. I don't know what to say. That phaser lance thing is pretty powerful, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there we go. With lots of speculation. We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I'm sure we just scratched, just the tip of the iceberg here because there's so many ships you can pick from. But tell us what you think about our battles. What you think would win from our top 10 lists.
Well, we have 12 battles there. Let us know, out of the 12, go back and watch it, listen to our discussions, have your own internal thoughts. Let us know who you think would win in each battle of the 12. And we'll see, and maybe we'll do a podcast and talk about maybe some of the results. Let's see who thinks what, and see how many people, maybe some reason everyone thinks that Katanga would win, or maybe everyone thinks Vengeance would win, Let's see, and then put your own fantasy battle. There's so many battles we could do, and we just picked some ones we really want to see. And that, great list, Stuart. Very different.
I know, I made it.
You did.
I did. You got a great list too. Really impressed with it. This one could have gone so many different ways, and I'm glad we don't have anything remotely similar.
It would have been pretty amazing if we had.
Yeah.
And that is it for this week's Trekyards Top 10. Thank you for tuning in. And if you like the show, please support us on Patreon or on our website, trekyards.com, by clicking that donate button, whatever you want to do. Or just keep watching more Trekyards, either normal shows, top 10s, mission briefings, whatever we produce. So until next time, next week, this is Commander Coggins.
And Captain Foley.
We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Hashtag Team Captain Foley.